The situation in the Middle East is entering an extremely complex phase, as declarations from the White House continue to shift, creating a labyrinth of information for international observers. President Donald Trump has asserted that after 47 years, Iran is now merely a hollow shell and the era of a nuclear-armed Tehran has ended. However, behind these affirmations of peace and the supposed collapse of the Iranian leadership lies a highly calculated psychological warfare tactic. Since the conflict erupted on March 1st, Washington has continuously released contradictory messages, from claiming that Iran is desperately begging for negotiations to threatening the destruction of Karg Island, the energy heart of the nation. The peak of this tension was the ultimatum on March 22nd, when the United States threatened to dismantle Iran's power plants within 48 hours if the Strait of Hormuz was not fully reopened. Notably, as soon as the 48-hour deadline expired, President Trump abruptly announced a temporary halt to the attacks for 5 days to engage in what he described as very productive dialogues. However, this sudden shift appears to be less an act of diplomatic goodwill and more a sophisticated plan to manipulate global financial markets. An analysis of the timeline reveals that these ultimatums are often issued over the weekend when markets are closed, driving crude oil futures toward the $120 per barrel mark. Immediately following this, news of negotiations causes oil prices to plummet, while the United States stock market surges by more than 1,000 points at the start of the week. The emergence of massive short-selling orders worth $800 million just before the announcement of the strike suspension has raised serious suspicions regarding the use of political power to manipulate global capital flows. This is a new model of financial diplomacy, where every status update from the leader of a superpower can be converted into massive profits for those who hold the script in advance. While buying time through declarations of negotiation, Washington appears to be executing a deeper plot to sow division within the Iranian interior. President Trump claimed to have contacted a highly respected senior figure in Tehran to discuss terms of surrender, including the cessation of uranium enrichment and joint control over the Strait of Hormuz. This move is believed to be aimed at widening the rift between the professional national military and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the elite force loyal exclusively to the supreme leader. By spreading rumors of a secret backroom deal, the United States hopes to weaken Iran's unified resistance while simultaneously luring the remaining leadership into the open for high-precision long-range strikes. This is a flush-the-snake-out-of-the-grass tactic, taking full advantage of the chaos in the command chain following the neutralization of several key figures in Tehran. However, the reality on the battlefield suggests a completely different narrative. In response to American psychological maneuvers, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps officially launched the 77th and 78th waves of the True Promise B operation. A barrage of ballistic missiles and swarms of unmanned aerial vehicles directly attacked United States military bases in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and specifically the Dimona nuclear facility. The Iranian side declared that all of Trump's games are obsolete and that their reserve forces of millions have not yet truly entered the fray. The fact that the United States paused attacks on the power grid for 5 days is likely intended to clear the Strait of Hormuz, allowing oil tankers to exit and minimizing environmental risks. Washington fears that if Iran executes a scorched earth maneuver by spilling oil across the Gulf, the region's entire desalination system would be destroyed, pushing financial hubs like Dubai into a freshwater catastrophe and total collapse within just 3 days. The temporary silence in the skies over Iran does not signify that peace is arriving. Rather, it is a sign of a massive military consolidation of unprecedented scale. While honeyed diplomacy is used to lull the adversary into a false sense of security, the United States military is quietly sharpening its blades for a decisive battle. Strategic transport aircraft are continuously ferrying paratroopers, special forces, and heavy artillery from domestic bases like Fort Bliss and Fort Liberty to Djibouti. The transition of the 82nd Airborne Division to its highest state of combat readiness, along with the positioning of 2 massive naval task forces, the Boxer and the Tripoli, near the theater of operations, indicates that the intent for an amphibious assault is crystal clear. The true objective of the United States may not be Karg Island given its difficult terrain, but rather the southern coastal strip of Iran, aimed at breaking the resistance of the Iranian Navy at the Strait of Hormuz. Beyond the main front, the United States is establishing a second operational axis at the gateway to the Red Sea. The buildup of forces in Djibouti is specifically designed to pin down Houthi forces in Yemen, preventing them from harassing the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. This is a 2 birds with 1 stone plan, launching a direct assault on Iran's energy vitals while simultaneously locking down vital maritime gateways to ensure the flow of global trade under Washington's control. Thus, the 5-day pause is essentially a window for the United States to wait for the full consolidation of Marine and Special Operations units, preparing for a thunderous strike to completely redraw the geopolitical map in this year of 2026. In this context, all efforts at negotiation appear to be a mere theatrical performance to mask the lethal intent radiating from the offshore fleets. The survival of the regime in Tehran is now measured in days if they mistakenly believe that Trump's promises offer a genuine diplomatic exit. If you want to stay updated with fast, accurate news and never miss important developments around the world, hit the subscribe button now. Goodbye, and see you again soon.